And I believe we might be live. Yes, we are live, although I cannot see us. Huh.
Do you want me to check my YouTube?
Yes, you can, because I'm not going to be able to. But wouldn't I see you?
You should.
This is so much fun.
What's your YouTube channel?
Oh, I can see you now. All right, so I think we are live. I can't see me.
Well, your camera's off.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
How do I turn my camera on?
On the bottom of your screen, it should have video.
You think I'm new to this?
What's your YouTube channel's name?
I'm Holistic Fitness. All right, well, it looks like we are live because I can see me. I mean, I can see you and I now, so I'm hoping that we are streaming live. You know, we are. I can't tell it yet. If we are live, for those of you who are catching this, so we don't look silly, we are, for the first time, going live on my phone. I am Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. We tried to do this on StreamYard today, except I'm having some technical challenges. So we're here, right here with all of you right now, and hopefully we're going to be able to upload this later to Facebook. So those of you who do watch on Facebook will get to see this. Whatever the matter is, I always upload it to my YouTube channel anyway, so regardless of the fact, it's here. Again, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness NY. I'm your certified holistic personal trainer, holistic integrative teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, card reader, and for those of you who don't know just yet, I'm also the founder of Holistic Healing Magazine. And I have with me today Miss Kitty, who's going to introduce herself.
I'm Kitty Budewig Faust, storytelling astrologist, reader of the stars. I have a TikTok daily channel that I do readings, read what is happening in the stars. I also am co-owner of Intuition of the Soul, a free private Facebook group where we share lots of different ideas. And it was funny, Joanne, because while you were frozen, I was pulling cards.
Yes, I saw that. I was able to see and hear you. It's just that you weren't able to see nor, I guess, hear me.
No.
Yes, yes. So that's very interesting. I'm tempted to see if we can actually get this back onto Zoom because my computer is up. So I'm kind of curious to see. You know how they say 3 strikes, you're out?
Yes.
Shall we dare? Shall we dare? Shall we dare? But are we on? Do you know if we're on YouTube?
We are on YouTube. I'm watching us.
Oh, okay, perfect. So then we'll say where we are, and this we'll just.
You might want to bring yourself down because you've cut your head off.
How
There
about that?
Much better.
It's just a matter of tilting the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So again, for those of you who don't know, us here, because this is the first time I'm actually streaming directly to my YouTube channel. Always the first time for everything, right? Interesting that it could be. When we think about the energy of today, there's 5 and 11 vibration that we do have, which is what I actually started talking about when we were supposedly streaming on StreamYard. I was sharing with everybody that these 2 numbers, the 5 and the 11, the 5 is a reminder of the changes that we all are going through in one way or another, doing something different. And the 11 is reminding you that you already mastered. You're in your mastery. So it's not about it's not about what you need to do so you can continue healing. You've done all your healing work. Every one of us have done our healing work. So we no longer have to keep digging ourselves out of this hole or thinking that we're still in our darkest days of our life. This is really where we get to shine our light. As Kitty titled today's topic, it is really about living best version and seeing yourself as just that. So, Kitty, the 2 cards that you pulled earlier, what were they if you still have them out?
I still have them out. This is in the deck is called Black Moon Astrology. And I pulled out, interestingly enough, Venus and Mars.
Oh, that is so interesting.
And Venus, of course, is our placement. Venus is the ruler of 2 energies. One is an air energy, Libra. So it's about our balance, how we think, our relationship energy, our contracts we enter into. And the other one is Taurus, our very pedantic, stabilizing energy around our values, our home, very earth. And our Mars energy is fire. It is also the ruler of two energies, both Virgo and Gemini, an air and an earth together again. And very much about where we put our efforts, our I am energy that is moving forward. And that fits so much with our title today because we're sitting here on the brink of quite a powerful full moon that's stepping forward. Uh,
Now, let me just ask because maybe I misunderstood. So, when you're saying did you say Mars or the moon?
Mars was the other one.
Mars, Mars is the ruler of because you said two.
Virgo. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Mercury. Sorry. Mars is the only ruler of Aries, fire energy.
For a minute there, I was just a little
No,
confused.
I was off in my
Mars or
own.
Mercury?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
So I was just, yeah, yes.
Mars is the ultimate I am energy. That is correct, but it's fire. It's the first house energy. It is the cardinal spark of what moves us forward. And we are sitting on this brink, this precipice with this very Scorpion full moon. So any of our fixed energies are really being called right now. Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. So, and we have three big placements tomorrow that we have our Pluto energy, which is in Aquarius in that fixed energy. We have this Scorpio moon and this Taurus sun. And so, and of course, the sun is always about Leo. So that's one reason why this is such a intense. That is the only word because, especially because we have our Pluto energy in retrograde, it's really about reclaiming and uncovering. And really, this, full moons are about oppositions of Taurus and Scorpio, and very much a very deep dive into the uncovering, secrets coming forth, things being exposed. And this is very much a transmutation. Scorpio is either transformation or transmutation. And we are in, that's why the title is about what version are you in, and are you willing to live your life that way consciously? It's not easy to stay conscious. It's not something we visit anymore. It's something we live. Very different.
Yes, I definitely believe that. And when we think about this moon energy, as the sun, as Kitty says, the sun being in Taurus and the moon being in that Scorpio energy, we may have this pull between um our relationships and the transmute what I'm hearing, which is weird, the transmuting of the relationships we have going, considering when we talk about Scorpio, we talk about Pluto's retrograde in Aquarius. This is about the transformation that we're undergoing. And also, as I hear it, is the relationship we have with ourselves. It's not necessarily about the transmutation between the relationships with other people as it really is about the relationship with ourselves, where we can be consciously in the present, recognizing how much we have transformed. It's already the fifth month of 2025, and how much we have actually really changed in the last 5 months. I mean, if you have an opportunity to reflect with this full moon's energy think back over the last year, going back to May of 2024, and here we are, May of 2025, and ask yourself, how much have you changed? What have you changed? Maybe it's your city, maybe it's your name, maybe it's your job, maybe it's a relationship. That something has changed, and with that change comes a whole different energy and a whole different conversation that you may be having with different people in this opposition energy. I myself love when we have the sun and the moon in opposition of each other, because it really is a lot. It, at least the way I see it, it really is about the tug of war one may have with themselves And being that I have my Mercury and my moon both in Aquarius, and being that the sun is ruled by Leo, I feel like I always have those two energies because again, my moon is in Aquarius. Is that opposition that's always going on with me and the moon. So and the sun. So it's quite interesting in this overall energy we have going on and where we're going with this. And when we think about the numbers again, the 5 and the 11, I want to throw in the number 9 as well, based on the universal energy. That 9 is a big reminder of the higher consciousness of how we are transforming. And the transformation is actually something that we should be inviting in anyway, because we want that change to take place. We want to know that we're evolving and we are learning to let go. We're moving more into the words I'm hearing is to the unpredictability of the freedom that shows up in this month, and being free to do what it is you want to do in this energy of the 5 months, and recognizing that 9 vibration of this month with the 5 energy, the change, the freedom, the creativity. How can the creativity show up in this energy? And what is this full moon in Scorpio really going to help us to highlight and work on letting go of? I always find that when we have a moon in water, it's extremely powerful. Now that could just be because I have so much water in my chart. And I know, Kitty, how is this feeling for you? Because you have a lot of energy in Scorpio.
Well, and I have a moon in Leo. So what isn't in Scorpio is hanging out right now. I have a lot of placements in Leo. Um,
I never
um,
realized how how do I say this? I never realized um how opposite you and I are. Where your moon's in Leo, mine's in Aquarius. Your south node is your Pisces. Your north node is your Virgo. My south node is Virgo. My north node is Pisces. And we're both water signs by sun because
mhm.
Kitty's Scorpio and I'm Pisces. It's like, wow, no wonder why we have this lovely dance that we do so often.
Well, I know that the fixed signs right now, especially, I'm probably a little better off in the fixed sign. I'll let you know tomorrow. Um, because it is Scorpio, and I do have a lot of Scorpios. So for a lot of people, when this level of Scorpio shows up, um, Scorpio is a very constant energy. It always is going, it's always looking to dive deeper. This is a transmutation though. And what the difference for people to understand is transformation is something we kind of go back and forth and we incorporate. We're in a new version of ourselves. So that's why it's transmutation. It's all new. So if you're out there feeling like I've been taking baby steps, you are, because all of us are. I kind of smile when people speak with amazing authority as to what's going on. And inside I'm going, none of us know. Not right now, because we're coming at this from a whole, I mean, always evolution. And as we blur those timelines, those versions, those frequencies, more and more is being uncovered. We're also looking at a moon at 22 degrees, which, you know, 22 degrees. And this is really about a transmutation to a nature spirit, to our entire spirit of nature changing. And so that's why this particular moon is really very interesting as a time for us. So I'm going to be curious how this plays out. New moons are about, or full moons are about forgiveness and gratitude. And so tomorrow, as well as the light shining upon it. So that would be a recommendation I would have for how you're living your life's version is tomorrow. Really look at where is the forgiveness. And remember, forgiveness isn't making something be all right. It's letting it have power over you. And therefore, where's the letting go? And the gratitude that, wow, I'm just in a different place than I was a year ago, May.
I'm just gonna stretch over and get a pen somewhere. Maybe no pens. Oh, there we go. I sort of had to remodel my desk to get me on my phone here for today. So my pen was on the other side of everything. But a couple of things I want to add to what Kitty is saying and also mention, which I find really interesting. As soon as Kitty mentioned the degree this moon was in, I was actually thinking it beforehand. I was like, oh, I wonder if she's going to say, because I didn't look at my notes. And it's so exciting to me to know that we have the moon, the Scorpio moon at 22 degrees. And if anybody knows me now, again, we're streaming here on my YouTube channel. So I'm not really sure how many of you know me face to face. We're not on Facebook right now, but I get super excited when we have multiple master numbers working together. On the 11th day of May, the moon is at 22 degrees. So we have two of our three master numbers playing a role here in regards to we are here to build something new. We are here building ourselves. And as Kitty said earlier, with this energy of this full moon in Scorpio, this is about reviewing what you're going to be like tomorrow and how you really know if you have really we'll use the word met the mastery of healing, is are you at a place where you can put out forgiveness? And it's so funny that Kitty says that, because today I was having a conversation with some people talking about how when we forgive or the process of forgiving, it's never about the other person. It really is about learning how to forgive so we don't carry the heaviness of whatever that emotion is tied to. So whether it's anger or frustration or whatever the word may be, the idea is that when we can get to that place where we can forgive the other party, we allow ourselves to let go of the heavy energy we hold on to. And one thing that I know just through my journey is when we can clear that energy out, it allows us to make space for the things we really want to bring in. So if anyone is holding on to anything that may be related to being upset with somebody and holding on to a grudge, using the Scorpio full moon to help you let go of that so you can have a conversation with the person. And it may not be a conversation that you have directly to them. Hopefully you all don't hear the horn blowing behind my scenes here. Could they be any louder? Anyway, that you have an opportunity to maybe write a note that you don't necessarily give the person. And maybe you do want to have a face-to-face conversation with someone and say, you know what? I forgive the situation. Now, just because you forgive the situation, do not necessarily be expecting I forgive you back, because they may not be at that same level. But again, the point of this full moon in Scorpio is to see how much we have mastered being the healer. Because a part of mastering this healing journey that we're all on is how can we get to that place where I'm not going to hold a grudge. Because a part of the conversation I had today regarding the forgiving is for every one of us to recognize that whatever the conflict was that created that need to, want to be forgiven or wishing for forgiveness, is recognizing the perception, how you saw the situation and how the other person sees the situation may not necessarily be the same, and that's why there's conflict to begin with. So I always use this as a perfect example. Write the number 6 down on a piece of paper, and you look at that number 6 as you could see it as a 6, and then turn that piece of paper around, and guess what? You're going to see that as a 9. It's the same thing when it comes to perception. No matter who's looking at it, what direction you're looking at it at, both of you are right, because you're seeing it from your own perception. So if you can recognize that this is not about a right or wrong, this is about whatever was going on at the time. And most of the time when we have disagreements with people, most of the time we very rarely can remember what the actual reason was to why we got upset. And notice I said most of the time. Sometimes you can remember because you're really good at holding that story in your head. So again, I find it so interesting that we're in this energy on this particular day, in this particular month. I think every month's going to be very transformational because of this non-universal energy. This is really giving us an opportunity to really allow ourselves to go deeper into the understanding of what are we, specifically for May, what are we willing to change? Because that's really the key word here, willing. We all can change if we're willing to change. And I think that's a big part of this energy. And then one more thing I want to say, and then I'm going to have Keith come back into the conversation, as we actually were saying earlier, regarding how much we are different. This is the first time in our lifetime, and why so many people really don't know the outcome to where we're going with this is because we've never experienced this energy with Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. So how can we really know where this is all going? This is every one of our first time really riding on this road.
Well, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, if and when they were ever together. Because for people to understand, Pluto is a 246-year cycle, and Neptune is a 185-year cycle. And so the last time we were Pluto in Aquarius was right after the Revolutionary War, Constitution, and Neptune in Aries was Civil War, right after the Civil War. And so we are at we're also exposing, part of it's our technology, because as we find more and more, we are questioning, we are really moving beyond looking outside for the answers, the other places, and really tuning into the inner world that is all connected with each other. This is that age of Aquarius, and new technological things are waking up, not even in our own bodies. That is part of this evolution. I was having a conversation with a friend a couple days ago, talked about until our bodies, and this is something Joanne will talk about, our bodies are at a certain point, as much work as we do, our bodies are an instrument of that. And when we're in the caretaking of our bodies, our ability to be our strongest, can we awaken some of those technologies?
I love that. And it's such a great gateway into the energy we're moving in by the end of this month, by May 25th, when Saturn works its way into Aries energy, in regards to literally just a few days before, well, at that point in time, let's see, the sun will be in Gemini at that point.
Excuse me.
And we'll be moving into, at that point, we'll be moving into the sixth vibration. So it really is, as we're moving into that energy, it really is about the connection that we do have with our physical body. And we've had an opportunity to explore this for quite some time when we did have both Neptune and Saturn in Pisces energy, helping us to become more attuned to our physical body, which I believe is one of the reasons why so many have experienced a lot of physical discomfort over the last 2.5 years, because it was really our body's way of what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is shaking us up to wake us up till we can become more attuned to the understanding that our body is our messenger. And when something shows up in our physical body, whether it shows up as just simple pain, and I say that gently and with love because there's nothing simple about pain, and of course illness and even disease gets flared up, and it's being flared up because it's trying to get our attention. And every symptom that shows up in our bodies, whether it is pain, illness, or disease, has a metaphysical meaning behind it. And it's really our body's way of really waking us up to say, hey, how about you take a moment to look at that, whatever it is, pain, illness, or disease, in a different way than you've looked at it before. And then ask your body, as one of my famous one of my favorite people in the world, based on ghouls out there, Louise Hay, says it best. Your body literally tells you how to heal if you take the time to listen to your body in regards to whatever's really going on. Our body actually knows how to heal itself when you put it in the right environment, when you feed it the right information, and when you fuel it with the right food. Your body can actually begin to heal itself. And there's so much on the external, just with nature alone, that can actually help us to really bring ourselves back into alignment to who we really are, when we start to really understand whatever is going on with our physical body, whatever the symptoms that show up. So as we do begin this process with Neptune in Aries, and then Saturn moving into Aries, and Aries being the who am I statement, and being ruled by Mars, which is the action that we are literally here to take, and we move into June's energy. June is another thing I'm hearing is June is going to be a really wild ride for many, in regards to really getting us back into more of alignment to who we really are. So, not to scare anybody, not to make anybody nervous. However, if you've been experiencing any physical discomforts, really start paying attention to what it is your body is really trying to tell you. Because this is a perfect time, as we do move into June, a perfect time to heal. A perfect time. And what I'm hearing, my mom is actually saying this. She's coming in. Why wouldn't she? It's Mother's Day. She's coming in and she's saying, if you can, get out into nature, and even though you may not be a tree hugger, get out into nature and place your hands on that tree. And now this part I'm not really much of, and I'm trying to be. Get out in nature barefooted and put your feet in the grass, because between your hands and your feet, specifically your feet, there are so many pressure points in your feet that literally can heal your body. And if you can just spend 5 or 10 minutes a day literally walking in the grass every single day, and again, it's not just about being in nature, it really is about allowing yourself to be in the right environment. Come away from the things that stress you out. Allow your body to be fueled by healthy food. This is a great time to really start reevaluating the food you are eating. How much of the food you're eating is coming from boxes versus food that are actually natural. This is not about a detox. This is really about using today, May 11th, all the way till June, to really start evaluating what you are eating and how you can start to transform your nutritional intake so you can become a healthier, stronger version of you. And I'm not even talking about exercise. I'm just really talking about the easiest process of, what are you putting in your mouth? What are you listening to, and what are you watching? Because again, it's not just the food that creates all the disease in our body. It's the things we listen to, and it's
So
the
things
things we
we
watch.
consume.
Yes. And we have to learn to, unless you're watching Kitty and I or some other amazing podcast out there, come away from your screens and really get yourself out into nature and really start evaluating what is it you're putting into your body, so you can become healthier and stronger and become more tuned to who you are and get to know who you are, so you know the version of who you're stepping into. Because that's what this year is all about. This 9 universal energy is really about helping us to transform and come away from all the old ways of doing the things we've done. Because after this year, we will have experienced several of our planets transitioning. We've already experienced Pluto. We've just experienced Neptune. We're going to get ready to experience Saturn, and then Uranus is going to shift out of Taurus and move into Gemini, and that's going to be an experience within itself.
Partially because Uranus or Uranus is the planet of chaos and awakening. And in Gemini, it's the energy of how we think. It's the only personal energy of how we think and how we experience. So what's happening right now is a lot of practice for that. It's very technological, what's happening. So I was talking earlier about our technological awakening. And it's amazing as you really work on living the best version. It's a conscious thing you set with intention. And we had all three outer planets within a space of 7 months change signs. And our outer planets are our bigger themes. And that's kind of unheard of, that the 185-year cycle, the 246-year cycle, and the 83-year cycle all coincided within a 7-month period. So, it is an unusual time. Some people get tired of the word unprecedented, but it kind of fits.
And also, too, let's not forget that we've had this interesting dance going on between Mercury, Mars, and Venus, where all three of the planets at one time or another were going back and forth. Like Mars went back and forth between Cancer and Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Venus went back and forth between Pisces and Aries. And Mercury just does Mercury.
Mercury just does Mercury. That's a good way to put it.
Mercury just does Mercury. And all of this has been taking place since all of these outer planets have been doing what they're doing.
Right.
So if any of us are feeling a little bit of confusion or not quite sure how to put on the right shoe on the right foot, we're all in this together, because hey, sometimes we're putting that right shoe on the left foot right now because it's like, what the hell? There's just so much energy shifting. And once it does land, and it's going to land, we're going to start to feel these transitions happening. Kitty, when would you say, like 2026, 2027, we'll really start to feel more of like everything moving into more
27, yeah. 27's a big year of settling. 26 will start the process. Will not be like 25.
Yes.
We'll be getting our energetic act more together. We'll have gotten used to this. This is just a different time for mankind. And this questioning of things that have existed for centuries, that are deeply seated, missed directions, the rise of the divine feminine, the repression. That's why you're seeing so much ugly right now, is there's a last ditch effort here to hold on. And that's kind of a true statement for all of us, especially with this Scorpio moon. What am I holding on to that does not allow me to live the version of life I wish to live?
Exactly. And again, like I said, the 9 energy universal year. This is every 9 years we go through this transformation. So this is a review of the last 9 years of our lives. And as we move into 2026, we're going to be moving into a whole new cycle with these planets in its place. So yes, it really is about going down a new road for the very first time as we express who we are. As I always like to coordinate the numerology and astrology, when we go into that one universal energy year, we're literally moving into the I am statement. Where right now in the 9 universal energy year, we're in this higher consciousness awareness of traveling between worlds. And it could be between worlds regarding between heaven and earth, or between who you are, who you were yesterday, who you are right now, and that version of you of who you really want to show up as, because you get to choose. You get to decide. I was watching the cutest video on TikTok the other day. I shared it on Facebook, but not everybody goes to TikTok, so not everyone gets to see it. And it was about well, really, I'm gonna say that the person that was chatting was probably like a little boy or a little girl looking to have changes and was talking out loud. And of course, I always like to say the universe is always listening. And all of a sudden, as this little person was chatting about how how he or she wants all these changes, all of a sudden everything this little one had disappeared, and he was like, where'd everything go? And the universe is like, well, you've asked for changes, so I'm giving you the changes you've asked for. He goes, but everything's gone now. And the universe is like, well, you can't have what you had if you want changes. And he goes, well, I don't think I want everything to be gone. So then the universe brought everything back and said, well, you have a choice. You can stay exactly where you are and continue to experience the same habits, the same patterns, the same challenges, the same person, all the same of everything. Or you could be courageous enough to let all of that go and step into those new things and know that new people, new places will come in. You get to choose. You get to choose. And if you choose that you want something new and you are ready for this transformation to take place, then you have to be ready to let go of people, places, and things that may no longer be aligned to this newer version of who you are. The fun thing is,
I think that that's really
people to come
important for
in.
people to understand
Say
that
it again.
I think that's a very important thing for people to understand. As you change, you have no control over other people's universe and what they're changing for them. You're a catalyst.
Right.
And it is, people see things differently. And it doesn't mean they have to go away, or it could mean. Some of that has to do with you letting go and letting things happen the way they're meant to happen.
Exactly. And like I said, the fun part of it is that, yes, if maybe a person that you've been fond of and enjoyed their company all of a sudden fades away, somebody else is going to come in, not necessarily take their place, but someone else is going to come in. So you're not going to be left with this empty space because it will get filled,
Right.
as everything does, helping you to get to where you have to go. And the beauty of it is that just because someone fades away, maybe in this next chapter, I always think of our life like a book, whereas not every character is going to be in the next chapter. So, but maybe the chapter, 2 chapters later, all of a sudden you're reuniting with somebody that you were connected with in chapter 4. Now you're in chapter 6, but they weren't in chapter 5 with you. And that's because now you reunited and now you're different versions of each other, where you both have a purpose now to be together. Because that, again, something I've learned over the years, is that when people do come into your past, everyone has a reason for why they're there. No one shows up in your path without a reason. Everyone comes in for a reason. I'm gonna mute myself a second.
Well, she coughs. To everything, and the thing about everything happening for a reason, or person happening for a reason, isn't always for us to know.
That's because you're like me, where I go and this I think comes from my Aquarius, my Mercury Aquarius energy, where I go and try to figure out, like, okay, so what was that person in my life for? What did they do for me, and what did I do for them while we were connected? And for again, it may be the right answer and it may not be, but that's just my curiosity, my brain that goes like, why was that person there? What did I learn from them? What did they teach me? Or what did I teach them? So it just makes an interesting journey, as opposed to once upon a time I myself used to get into that space on like, oh my God, what happened? What did I do? Why did they leave? And get really sad about it. And I used to be one of those types of people that would like try to hold on to them. And then again, learning a lot over the last couple of years, realizing that, okay, wait, if the universe took that person out of my life, it's the reason why they're no longer there. So I need to let them go. And then if they're going to come back, they'll end up back. And if not, we just did what we needed to do together at the time. And it took me a long time to figure that out. Kitty, you want to pull another card? And I'm going to pull a card as well.
Sure. I think I'm going to ask specifically if the stars could give us some energy to deal with this paradigm that's coming from the Scorpion. Like, what is this Scorpio moon really in the midst of all this change? Because Scorpio is always about change. That's what it does. Oh, you can't make this up, nor can I make up the number this is. The card is Pluto and its transformation.
What number is it?
11.
My. We cannot make this up, even if we tried.
Yeah,
even if we tried.
In this deck, it's 11, which of course is a favorite of mine, born 11/11, with all that Scorpio. And 11 is also the house of Aquarius, and Pluto is in Aquarius. So this is very much what it's saying is this is about the vision of what we can be as a collective, because Aquarian energy is about the we. That's why it's considered the unique, the at times called cold, because it's always looking for the purest version. I mean, even the sign itself is about water and emotion. Even though it's an air sign, it's carrying it, it's looking at it, it's reflecting on it, the water bearer. How do I use this in the group? And I bring that life forward. How do I think about that? That's that Aquarian energy. And of course, Pluto is that transmutation, transfer. It is exactly what this is the moon of tomorrow. This is Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio.
Yes. And as Kitty was asking the question, I was shuffling my deck and two cards fell out. I'm hoping I can place them in the space where you can actually all see. They're both in reverse though. So a little bit about the cards in reverse. Reverse means two things. We want to pay attention to the message, and there may be a little bit of resistance to what shows up with the message. The first card is about being patient, utilizing your patience as you undergo your transformation. So do not expect your transformation to just happen overnight and be this different version of yourself when you wake up tomorrow. It's going to slowly transform into who you are. The color green is all about the matters of your heart. What really holds true for you? What is it that may hold heaviness in your heart that you can work on? The number 4 is so appropriate with the moon's energy because it really is about your home, meaning your shelter, your work, and your physical body. The second card, which I find interesting, is play. Now, when we talk about play, it's allowing yourself to allow your inner child to show up. Whenever we get into the space of overthinking, anxiety, or stress, see if you can come back into that childlike version of you and play. And maybe not in the physical sense, but even in the communication sense. Be more playful with how you communicate. Try to bring that in so things are not so heavy and serious. The number 16, which is that 7, and we cannot make this up if we tried. When we think about the energy, between May, which is 5, and the 11, and we add that up, we're going to just take that 11 for now, and even though we don't usually do this in numerology, just for the sake of my mind, and we're going to make it a 2, works out to be a 7. 5 and 2 is 7. And 7 is exactly the energy of being more in alignment to your agreements, bringing more balance into your life, and just allowing yourself. And yes, Venus also, and allowing yourself to experience the beauty, because that's that Venus energy. And didn't we just have, which planet was it Venus that just moved into Aries? Was that Mercury that moved into Taurus?
I'm looking. It was Mercury that moved into Taurus. Venus moves into
That
Venus
doesn't
is in
happen till later
Aries.
than months. Yeah.
Yeah. Venus is in Aries. It moves later. So, um,
Yes. So when we think about that seven energy again, the agreements that you have and how you're utilizing this month's energy of that five, where do you want more freedom? How can you utilize your creativity? Are you using your creativity? Can you be open to the unpredictability that can show up? And unpredictability could actually be good. And then allowing yourself just to be more playful in this powerful energy and just allow this Scorpio moon to help you let go of what you need to let go as you're transforming.
it
And
will
this
show
energy,
you. This moon will show you more than others.
yes, yes, yes. This is definitely a beautiful time to allow yourself this energy between the sun and Taurus and the moon and Scorpio, just push and pull in regards to the relationships that we do have with ourselves and others. And what changes are you willing to take on so you can transform and things can be different as we change into different months and moving out of 2025? So we can
This,
have a different story to talk about at the end of 2025.
yeah, I mean, this is reclaim and uncover this moon. Reclaim who we are, remembering more and more who we really are as a people, not what someone else has given us as a guideline.
Exactly, exactly.
That's
A
why you hear
perfect
so many people questioning everything. It's not just about conspiracy theories. It's about, well, wait a minute, is that really true? You know, what has been presented?
Oh, yes, yes. You know, this is a perfect time to take off the mask. This is the perfect time to evaluate your habits and your philosophies and your beliefs.
Hmm.
Because many of that may no longer be aligned to who you're becoming.
Right.
And there's so much energy out there, so much information out there that might have been true maybe 50 years ago, but may not be true now. So just set it up, allow yourself, get out, whether you want to get out tonight, tomorrow night, get under that moon, get out into nature, hands on the tree, feet in the roots, and allow yourself this transformation.
This is
Can
a
you
very
let me?
this is a very powerful moon to put water out in a glass jar and get some moon water and really kind of work with as things get introduced that you want to transform to really take a look at them.
In fact, as Kitty says that, not that you'll be able to see in my little jar here on my necklace, I literally have moon water with beautiful carnelian crystals in that was literally set under the moon, not by me, by the person who I bought it from. And it's just really, every time I wear this, I find it just to be extremely powerful energetically. And he's got so many amazing stones that are actually in water based on the moon's energy. So very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
So Kitty, let everybody know how they can reach you.
You can reach me at Storytelling Astrologist at Storytelling Astrologist at singular at gmail.com or via Intuition of the Soul 11 at gmail.com or join our Facebook group and you can send me a message. I actually am also on YouTube and Facebook under Storytelling Astrologist.
Perfect. And of course, those who are watching here, right here on YouTube, you're catching me. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can find me under the same name, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, or you can even go to I think Holistic Fitness NY and find me there as well. I'm everywhere. If there's any questions or anything you need by me, feel free to email healingwithin76@gmail.com. And Kitty and I, as always, we always have fun when we get together.
We do. We haven't done it in a while, so this is fun to do it again. I'm in my new location, and then by next week I'll be in my summer home.
There you go. Changes,
I
changes, changes.
am a snowbird, folks. I have a cabin in Maine that I spend the summer at. I'm a very blessed person for that reason.
There you go. And I myself am where I am. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Until we come together, we'll see you on the other side. Let's see if I can
Bye-bye.
come up with this. Boom, boom, boom.